Okay, week 9 coding assignment. So we are on the projects app.java. And the first things we did, we added the private list string of operations, list of that project. This is going to be our menu, and we add our scanner. Inside the main method, all we have is calling on the projects app process and calling on the process user selections method. So take a look at that method. It's it's void with a boolean false. And inside we're going to have our switch, but you can see we also have the method get user selection. So if we come down here, we see get user selection. It's going to take an integer. It's going to call on the get int input method, which we have here, which will return an integer taking a string. And it also calls upon the get string input, which now we see here, which will return a string, take a string, print out the string name for the prompt, which we feed in a semicolon, and also bring in our scanner next line. Now, if we return up to our switch, you see -1 is exit menu, and it gives us that function method. We're going to print out just exiting the menu and return true in the boolean, and it will also give us if we enter 1, it will give us our create project method, which you can see here. We create all the variables. We create a new instance of project, and we set our project names. We print out, successfully the method. What you also see here, this creates the get decimal input, which is basically the same thing as the get integer input. Both of them also have messages if a invalid character is entered. Next, we'll go to the project service class, which will basically act as a pass-through between the project's app and the project DOA. You can see here, calls on a new project DOA. So let's just go there. First, we're going to set our constants. You can see here we have the constants for the 5 tables, and there's a note here I'll get to later. All right, and here we are. We're going to insert our project string of SQL, insert into the project table. We're going to have our column names that we're entering. We do not have the project ID because we want that to be generated incrementally. And we have our placeholders. And we're going to set our parameters with our prepared statement. We're going to try, before that, we'll try to get our connection, our try method, and create our DB connection. We have our prepared statement, which is going to take the column names and call upon the variables, which we'll pull them into. We'll execute our statement. We'll execute, and here this is where we get our project ID, which will get the last insert ID, and this is what will create our unique primary keys and project ID. And you can see we return the project. So if we run this, let's check to see if our fail messages work. So we put 2, which is an invalid entry. Span this. 2 is not a valid selection, try again. So let's put ABC. And again, ABC is not a valid number, try again. I don't know why it's doing try again twice, but we clear the console. Clear the console, run our project. We enter 1, name, 1, 2, 3, notes. And we see it successfully ran. Now, up here, the only thing I had to change was this was project or I had this as project, but when I ran it, I would run into an issue where it would fail to say the table projects.project does not exist. So by updating this field here to projects, it runs successfully.